Hey guys, it's awesome to see your lovely faces again. And I'm sure they're lovely and I'm sure they're awesome, but I actually can't see them. But I'm sure you guys can see me, and I'll leave it at that. But what I wanted to say was, if this is your first time here, I'm Kunal Roy, and welcome to another episode of All Things Ambient Guitar. And today's ambient profile is Brian Eno, and I'm going to be reviewing Brian Eno and his music. So stay tuned, but first, the intro. So, a few years ago, about roughly 4 years ago, a buddy of mine suggested checking out Brian Eno's music, and I was absolutely blown away. I first listened to the album Thursday Afternoon, and it was a 60-minute magnum opus of tape loops morphing into each other in a non-repetitive, slightly out of time segment of textures, melody, and loops. And I just got lost in self-reflection. At times I was listening intently, and at times I just ignored it, and it was part of the background. And I loved the genre so much, I listened to nothing else except ambient music for a whole year or 2 years. And I'll share something with you. I suffer from panic attacks, and back then, about 4 years ago, when I listened to only ambient guitar music, my panic attacks just disappeared, and I was blown away. And then I started listening to heavier music like Pantera and Nirvana and chaotic stuff. Good music, but like nothing tranquil or repetitive loops or textural. And panic attacks came back. But my point being, I fell in love with Brian Eno's music because it would arouse curiosity, it would arouse intrigue. I would just lie in bed and self-reflect, meditate to his music, especially music for airports, where Brian Eno himself used to say that music to either be ignored or to be the center of an interest, and be taken into absorption or into reflection with not just the music, but with the environment in which it's being listened to. And that's what Music for Airports was. And Music for Airports was actually, word of the street is, Music for Airports was played in Munich Airport, and it's still played there till this very day. And that's quite a coincidence. So when I listen to Music for Airports, I kind of think about taking off my belt, my shoes, emptying my pockets, and putting on my headphones. So yeah, that's with Music in Airports. Thursday Afternoon was meant to be a piece, which is also one of my favorites. See, Brian Eno, I have to mention, Brian Eno was also not just a musician, but he was very into the visual arts. And Thursday Afternoon was meant to be a composition of loops, tape loops, morphing into other tape loops, slightly out of time in non-repetitive layers. And it was meant to be in sync with the visuals for it. The music and the visuals were meant to be in sync. And it's a 60 or 80 minute, I forget. I think it's a 60-minute composition, installation. That's a favorite as well. And another favorite is Lux, Lux, and Lux is Lux is an album where there are 4 tracks, roughly 18 minutes long each, and it's just that's one of my favorites, top favorites out of Brian Eno's work, where you can absolutely lose yourself. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about Brian Eno. He's done well. I've just covered just the icing on the cake, just a few albums that he's covered out of a discography of copious amounts of work, collaborations with other artists. You have to check them out for yourself. I just thought I'd have an ambient artist profile for Brian Eno today. And I will check you guys out in the next episode of All Things Ambient Guitar.